Andrew, then what is your, is your main point that women shouldn't be able to vote because they are not eligible for the draft, or like they do not have to be signed up?
No. My argument is very simple. That if women can vote, but women cannot use the mechanisms of force against the enemies of the United States, and only men can, then men can vote to send, or women can vote to send men to war. And since the domain of war is always going to be men, if women have the power to send them to fight wars, that means that they can send them to fight wars on their behalf. And that is a great, I would say, immoral position to take, that you can have one elite group, which does not have to fight wars, send another non-elite group to fight them on their behalf.
Yeah,
if, for instance, we were to reverse this and I were to ask you from a racial lens, if whites could vote to send black people to war, but then themselves never had to fight in said war, would you consider that to be moral?
No. But
then why would it be moral for women to be able to vote to do this?
Well, because I think, like, if a 75-year-old man, I think he should be able to have the right to vote, but, you know, he's not going to be...
A 75-year-old man can be drafted to go to war.
But he's not going to be...
A woman cannot.
Do 75-year-olds get drafted to war, though? Does that actually happen?
They could be, well, whether it has happened or not, the potential is there for it to happen. The potential is not there for it to happen to you.
I guess I didn't realize that there was the potential that a 75-year-old...
Yeah, you sign up for selective service when you're 18 years old, and if the need is great enough, the United States can call on you regardless of your age, if you're a man. They cannot do this for women. So since this is true, that means that women could vote in such a way as to send all of the population and draft the population of men to send them to war on their behalf. If we were to look at this through any other lens, racial, socioeconomic, any other lens, you would say it's immoral, but for some reason women won't say it's immoral for them to be able to have that power to do to men specifically.
Yeah, the whole basis of my argument was just that I didn't realize that 75-year-olds could get drafted or selected, and so
well, right now that may not be the case, but they can extend it. They can extend it wherever they want, and they can lower it. They can lower the draft age to 15. In fact, in World War II and World War I, when the draft came around, there was plenty of 15, 16-year-olds who signed up for the draft. Okay, they can lower it to whatever age they need for fighting age men, and they can raise it to whatever age they need for fighting age men. Shortly after 9/11 happened, in fact, when there was a war going on in the Middle East, they raised the enlistment age for who they would take up, I believe, to 40, 45 years old. The potential is always there, in other words, for men, but it's not there for women. And since that is the case, why do you get to vote to send them to war? Why do you get to do that? Like, why do women get to have that exclusive privilege? I don't understand that.
No, and I understand your point, but also there are a lot of men who are not eligible to be drafted because, I don't know, they don't have a kidney, or they're colorblind or something like that.
Yeah, women would also be...
If the need is great enough, like it is in Ukraine, or it is in other places right now, okay? If the need is great enough, they will lower the standard to bring the men in. They don't care. So when you say, oh, he's not eligible, he's eligible to peel fucking potatoes. He's eligible to do this, he's eligible to do that. But if we're looking at it from a collective basis, okay, there's a lot of women who can't vote either because they're in comas, right? You would agree that that's true, but so what? That has nothing to do with the fact that women as a collective can vote to send men to war. It's the greatest injustice of our time. It's the greatest social injustice of our time, and nobody even thinks about it. Women take it for granted. They don't even care.
Does anybody else have something to say?
Well, I just wanted to add to this point. You said, do these older men, they get drafted? We actually have some historical examples of this happening. So in World War II, it was called the Volkssturm. So Nazi Germany. It was at the very end of the war. Germans were desperate, so they conscripted males between the ages of 16 and 60 who were not already serving in the military in some capacity. So 16-year-olds all the way up to 60-year-olds, they were obviously very desperate. They needed the manpower, and so yeah.
When it's necessary, men will be called always to warfare, never women. Because, and here's the greatest injustice, right? Because the descriptive truth is that women can't do it.
Women.